Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. Ridiculously real.
Ridiculously real. It's finally happening.
Finally.
How do you feel?
Long time coming. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Been a long time coming. First episode. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in.
Same. I can't stop smiling.
There's a lot of things we want to talk about. Yeah, I don't know where we start to begin with, but yeah, I'm just quite excited to get the show on the road finally.
Same.
We've been talking about it for a while. Finally been able to sit down and get it sorted and get the show on the road.
It's been a few months thinking, planning,
yeah,
and finally deciding to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm. It's been a little bit longer. We've been thinking about it for about a year or so. But a couple of years ago.
We considered it a few years ago, to be fair. Now you mention it.
We always said it'd be good for us to jump on a podcast, but then you were doing like your own sort of podcast and stuff like that. You're not new to the game, like me.
Veteran in this game.
Yeah, but yeah, we thought about it for a little while, and finally now here we are. So yeah, I'm excited to jump on, talk about lots of different things. We've got various things we want to speak our mind about.
All kinds of different things.
And get stuck in. Well, where should we start?
I think we should kind of explain what we're actually doing here in the first place. I feel like we've jumped into this together. It's an exciting new thing. Again, I can't stop smiling. But it's like...
That's how happy you are to see me.
No, not that. I'm just more excited for the show. But I just think we're explaining like ridiculously real. It's in the name. It's very clear what we're trying to get across, but I think it's clear to reinstate that.
Okay, yeah, cool. I think first show we have to start from scratch, explain everything. So ridiculously real. What should we start? Should we start off with where the name came from or how we originated?
Let's start off with that, and then we can give a little time.
We can go through. So I think the name came from sort of organically from what we wanted to represent in our podcast and what we were planning to do in the podcast, which is to be as real as possible. Yeah. Just on every single subject we talk about, we want to be completely real. So then we started thinking about the sort of things we're talking about and just things we talk about when we're like on our own or off camera. And we sort of realized they were quite ridiculous in some ways. Like some of the stories you have to share are like, some people might think it's not real and because they're that ridiculous. And it kind of just came organically. Yeah. Like it was like, okay, what we talk about is ridiculously real, but we also want to be ridiculously real about all the things we talk about.
Yeah, because I think the problem is we're ridiculously real. I think we kind of realised, didn't we? We'd just be sitting there, we'd be at lunch, we'd be at your house, we'd be at my house, we might be drunk, we might just be sober, we might just be out for lunch or dinner, but with the things we'd be saying, we'd almost say like, this could be on a podcast.
Yeah. We've said that loads of times.
We can elaborate this further.
Like you've told a story or something, it's like, that was like, I'm crying my eyes out and we're like, and the thing is that what we're talking about is real. Yeah. So it's just our own experiences, but also our take and views on a lot of things. Like you've got a lot of things you want to get off your chest. I've got a lot of things that I want to talk about. And so we want to be ridiculously real about everything that we cover. So whether it's just about our own experiences or whether it's our views and takes on things like what's going on in the world right now and whatever that sort of, whatever's going on. So I think that the name came very, very organically. Yeah, it did. Ridiculously real. And I think that's like a disclaimer that we want to put at the start is that everything that we talk about is going to be real. Yeah. As far as we're concerned, like our views on things, but anything from our experiences are always going to be real. So it's like there's nothing hidden. Everything's out there. Yeah. We just want to share it with everybody. Some people will like our views on things and what we have to say. Some people won't. But that's the beauty of realness, I suppose.
I think it's one of them things where we're not. Well, yeah, I think the disclaimer is a good idea. I didn't even really consider that because obviously there's times where I go a bit too far. Yeah. And sometimes I go further than I should, or I say things just in a bit of an aggressive manner. So I think a disclaimer was a very good thing to include there. But the overall gist is, there's not many people that are real in the world we live in today, and I think it's important to have a set of mouths that can do that. A set of mouths. A pair of mouths.
But saying as you said that there's not many things that are real, just a thought triggered in my head is that I think when you think about today's world, or not society, but like in today's world, it's very much on social media, Instagram, not so much Twitter. People get out their views on Twitter and stuff, but yeah, everything is kind of like hidden behind what you're only showing what people want you to see, but there's not a lot of realness there.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, to put it quite perfectly. But we just want to kind of, in a way, get the realness out there, but also talking about Instagram and Twitter is we have a bit of a following on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah. And people have never really got to see us, the real side of us, as in, not that we weren't being real, but to get to see a bit more where we're sitting down talking about a subject rather than 160 characters on Twitter or a picture on Instagram. Now it's like, you're getting to see everything.
Yeah. I think you put it perfectly. You've mentioned the Twitter thing before as well. It's like, especially now, you've jumped on Twitter a bit more as well. You're a bit more active and you're giving your thoughts. Like, you dropped the F-bomb for the first time ever, like last month. And obviously, like, I retweeted it. I was like, Bernie, you've just broken your fuck virginity on Twitter. I was like, this is mad. Everyone was like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah. But I think with me as well, especially, I always go on rants. It'll be 2 a.m, 3 a.m. I'll be dead sober as well. People think I'm like on crack or something. They'll be like,
I've noticed that. You go on your phone in the morning and say, oh, here we go.
Yeah, like people are like, have you just done meth or something? And I'm like, I'm dead sober. I just want to get things off my chest.
But I feel compelled to do that as well. But I find it hard to get across on Instagram and Twitter. Sometimes you want to say so much, but on Twitter you're reduced to, obviously you can send message after message.
Yeah, and that's what I do sometimes.
A bit like you do.
And it's like, when you look back in the morning, I'm like, no, I went in. Yeah. I need to chill.
But at the same time, with those messages that you rip, if you could sit there like now and say it properly, like have a conversation, people can understand what you're saying, and you can get across your point 100 times better than through a tweet.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons why we're here as well.
Because there's a lot of misunderstandings that can happen from tweets. It's always easier to say it in person and express yourself. Yeah. Whereas tweets can be misunderstood, they might be misinterpreted. And what you've been trying to deliver all along as a message could just get fucked up in a single wrong tweet.
Yeah, because people can read it the wrong way, or it can completely get misread.
But I think we're doing something good here. I think it's quite different, and
we're both quite excited for it.
I'm twitching. I'm just like, yes.
There's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about. 2020 has been absolutely mental.
Fucking shambles.
So we got all of that. But just before, we're just talking about Ridiculously Real. Before we get on to everything we've got to talk about, so we basically explained where the name came from. This is like our new show, and what people can expect is that obviously we're going to be doing this like a fairly regular, on a weekly basis and so on. So it's something that we're going to be doing consistently moving forward. But yeah, and as I said, because there's so much, I think with that is that there's so much happening on a weekly basis at the moment. It's like we could have done a podcast last week, and from then till now, there's stuff that we could sit here and talk about for hours.
The world's just
I said like 2020 is just mental.
Yeah, like the world's just erupting. I don't know what's going on. I tweeted this the other day. Like sometimes I sit there and I phase out for like 5 minutes. And I like kind of just have a think like, what is actually happening right now? Like what?
It all seems a little bit surreal, doesn't it?
It's like if we were on track, we've just been thrown off the rails and just left on the side. I can't explain. Like it's just how has the world got to where it has today?
It's hard to put into words, and I think that's why we need this, because you can't explain that through a tweet or through Instagram. So there's so much to say, and like where do we even begin? There's just so much. Obviously, we've got the mask on the table in front of us.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think that's a big subject that's come about, especially for us in the UK, over the last couple of days. Like, we were getting prepared to do this podcast. But as I said, like, within the last few days or even the last week, they've given us, like, so much to talk about. Because now what's happened is, the latest news in the UK is that we're now... going back down to being able to only meet up in groups of six
people
from a few days time, Monday. So now, and they're talking about maybe curfew from 10 o'clock. I don't know what the curfew sort of entails, whether it just means everyone off the street at 10, or I'm not sure. But we're taking that step back again. We're not getting better, and it's like, oh shit, here we go again. Hashtag lockdown number 2 is trending, isn't it? So how do you feel? What's your thoughts?
Well, obviously...
How do you feel about this situation for Monday going forward?
it's pissed me off, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I know I mentioned it a little bit. You know, well, obviously you got a text message from me at like 3 a.m, being like ridiculous. It's just like, it's the thing is,
was that last night? I remember there was one. It was at 2:30 or. Yeah, I think. Or was it yesterday?
It might have been this morning. I don't remember. But I was awake to myself. Like, I was just talking to myself. I was like, stupid. I was going mad. It's like the worst thing is, it doesn't even affect me. Like, I don't even think I have 6 friends to get together in a gathering anyway. So I'm excluded from this. And like, I've been chilling this whole year, even though it's been a bit weird. I've been chilling a lot. Quarantine doesn't really affect me that much, or lockdown, but it's more the suppression.
It's knowing that you're not allowed to do a certain thing. It's like you're being told what you can and can't do.
It's there's no logic behind any of it.
Yeah.
And I think what pisses me off more is the fact that people are just going with it. That's the scary thing as well. What can we actually do?
Yeah.
Yesterday I was getting so pissed off. I was just winding myself up. I was just reading it and I was like, it doesn't make sense. They're just enforcing laws out of nowhere. They're throwing in fines. They're making up their own things. You've mentioned this as well. They're not actually even asking us. They're not even consenting with us, or
this is what
just
I think
suggesting.
So at the moment, it's like in the UK, they are bringing in this, reducing how many people can meet up to 6 again. Then, like what you just said, is if there's more than 6, you get a fine of £100.
£100, and it goes up to
£3.5 grand.
Yeah.
If you get caught a second time, it's a big jump. But then there's so many like flaws in what they're telling us. So you can't meet up with more than 6 people, but I think weddings are okay. Like what?
Up to 30 people.
Yeah,
if
up to 30 people.
So you got weddings, you got sports events.
Schools are obviously we want the kids to be in school, but it's just like, okay, obviously there's a lot more kids in the classroom than 6. Mm-hmm. So it's like it works. It just doesn't make sense. There's no logic behind it, and that's why people are getting pissed off.
Yeah, it's contradicting. And then what they're doing is now they're blaming the youth, or they're blaming everyone for not abiding by social distancing rules. But only 3 weeks ago, they were saying go outside, eat out to help out.
Yeah.
And I kept saying to myself, shouldn't it be eat in to help out and discounting deliveries? Like, why are you not discounting Deliveroos and Uber Eats? Why are you encouraging people to go outside and sit in a restaurant in close encounters like we are now with fucking 30, 50 people all eating food? No one's allowed a mask in a restaurant anyway.
Yeah.
You're encouraging people to go out.
Yeah.
And now you're saying we've
that's
gone
what
out
it was.
too much.
It was like get out the house, going Monday to Wednesday.
Yeah.
They'd help the businesses, obviously, but which is in turn helping the government. But yeah, it just doesn't make. All last month was go out, get out. Here's £10 off your meal, or here's 50% off. Now it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, stay indoors. You're not allowed to do this type of thing. So it's like it just jumps from one extreme to the other.
I think yesterday hit hard because of how they were kind of giving us hope. It was like hope of normality again. It was like go out, enjoy yourself. Beaches started flooding up. Pubs, like we went to a few pubs and bars over the past few weeks. It's been okay, minus the little scanning barcode stuff.
And that you have to sit at a table and you can't. Yeah,
fucking routine and scripted. But they gave you hope.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the blink of an eye yesterday, they were like, you are now not allowed out with 6 people. You do this, you're fined. And the potential curfew. There's now bus lanes operating 24 hours. It's like fines. And it's actually illegal now to be in a group of more than 6 people. Yeah. It's not just a fine. It's
but it was rumoured that it's going to come out. Is it? I think it's basically anything that they say is rumoured has happened. Yeah. Like they've shown the actual like signs and stuff for it already. I think you had it on your phone. But so basically it is going to happen. But yeah, I think it's just a bit of a shock to the system, and it's like we're taking another step back again.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it's going to work when they bring in this. If they're talking about a curfew, like a curfew, all things are shut at 10 o'clock. A curfew from 10 o'clock to 5. There's probably a lot of people watching this that, like, not in the UK, might not understand the eat out to help out thing. But that was basically the government giving us an initiative to go out and eat out and get money off your food, just to get out there. And as you said, be in a restaurant full of other people. But then now it's like, now you can't. Be with anyone more than 6 people.
Yeah, but it's like when we went to Nando's the other day, and then we went again, and it was just like it drove me crazy both times. Like everything now, even with the roads outside, they're coning. Like you've been calling me every day, moaning that the roads are getting blocked off.
Okay, some road rage.
But it's like if you look at everything now, it's becoming systematic.
Yeah,
everything is becoming automated, systematic. Like it's fixed. It's like there's no you're becoming confined. We're literally becoming hamsters in cages or rats in like a maze. They're literally paving the ways for you now.
Yeah.
And we're like sheep.
Yeah.
Sheep have to be kept within their means to go, and that's what we are now.
It's not even like, I think that we were like that in a sense already. Like,
we've always been.
Yeah, but
bad.
even worse now is that, roads are being shut off. Again, people not in the UK or outside of London may not have been affected by this, but in London, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's been in the news that people are not happy about it and they're moving them. But basically, loads of roads are being blocked. They're just putting up road blockages all over the place, just out of the blue. No one said why they're doing it. There hasn't been not even warning to say, all right, we're going to try this out, or this is going to happen. And it's like for 6 months or whatever. Just one day it was like, you're trying to drive home, and then every single road towards your house is blocked off, so you have to go up down the main road. And that's what you're saying about like rats or like sheep, because you're all being funneled into one road. And so now what might take 2 minutes to drive to, let's just say, a train station, now takes like 5 or 10 minutes, because you have to go the long way around and you have to go on the main road, and it's literally like being funneled. And that feeling of,
it's horrible, isn't it?
Of not being allowed to do what you want to do, or just like, why is this road from the station to my house being blocked off? Why do I now have to drive the whole and take 10 minutes to get home? It's just like
scary, man, because it's like, it just bang, it just happens, and it makes you realise how insignificant you are.
It's that
makes
feeling
me feel
there.
insignificant. Like, I've always felt insignificant in a way that, not to get emotional and start crying, but it's like, I've always felt insignificant.
Do you need a shoulder to cry?
A little bit. I'm getting a bit stressed. It's hitting me at the moment, but it's like, if you can't tell, I'm getting angry. But
that's what I think a lot of people are feeling. Like, as I said about the road blockages, people were just like moving them out of the way, and now they're having to drill them into the floor. Like these flower pot things.
Because I was seeing the pictures in the Ealing, people just like drop kicking them down. And it's like, I would as well. It was pissing me off. Yours the other day, I came to come and see you. Normally a 30-40 minute journey, took me almost 2 hours. And you made a very good point today as well. They're doing all of this to apparently ease all of the coronavirus congestion and pollution. But you're spending so much time either in traffic or taking fucking U-turns here and there and rerouting. You're causing more congestion and pollution anyway. So it doesn't make sense.
There's probably is going to be like, there could be a logic reason for it, but no one's come out and said, right, as I said, we're doing this. This is what's happening. It's just happening. And I think like doing it now at a time where the world is the way it is with COVID and everyone's a little bit scared or worried, and then just keep doing these things like out of the blue for no reason. It's like, why are you doing all these things? Where's it all coming from? I don't know. It just doesn't. It feels like you're being suppressed and you're having to abide by someone else's decisions, and you don't really have. Especially if the lockdown happens, not the lockdown, but the curfew. Like, I can't see people.
That's a violation.
I can't see people adhering to that. I can't see. I'm not sure of the extent of it. I don't know if it's like everyone has to be indoors by 10. Again, it doesn't really affect a lot of people because you're like, I'm at home chilling anyway. But it's it's the fact that you can't do what you want to do, like, and what you get fined. Like, so now it's like imprisonment almost.
Imagine getting arrested. You're in the prison cell. They're like, "What are you in here for?" I was like, "I just wanted some biscuits." Here I am. Got 3
Is that
years.
what you would go out for after 10?
Biscuits. Get a Red Bull and some
of
biscuits.
all things.
Or pepperoni and cheese string.
We've got the wine here quickly.
We've got the wine.
Let's say cheers.
Cheers
to the first podcast.
One.
So we got the wine because we're partial to the glass.
Time, but it's nice. From France, yeah?
It's a nice little bottle to start us off.
I trusted you and you delivered.
So it was over. One of the reasons we got the red wine here is because the podcast idea kind of came while we were having a glass or a few bottles, and we decided that obviously we have a good chat and share some stories.
It's it helps. I think it's kind of a trademark of who we are. We get on well, and I think wine was a big part of the bonding. It was like, just wherever we go, wherever we've met up, whether it's chilling at home, go for dinner, go for a bar, go for lunch, have a burger.
And just being quite chilled. I think people have seen that on our Instagrams and stuff. But yeah, so with COVID at the moment, I said it's just kind of crazy, isn't it?
What do you, like, before I get into my potential theory, because obviously I might just explode in a minute.
Yeah.
But what is your thought behind it all? Why do you think it's all happening? Do you believe there's an agenda behind this? Do you believe we really have a virus? Do you believe there isn't a virus? What do you think is actually going on?
You want to go deep?
What do you think is going on right now?
It's so hard to... It's a hard one. It's like... I would say there's no doubt that the virus is real, as in the sense that there are people getting ill from it. Mm-hmm. But how the virus came about is another story. This is going to go probably maybe hand in hand with what you think. But okay, the virus came. Let's bring it right back. In my head, the virus came out of nowhere, right? It was literally bang overnight. Everyone was having a good life, and then 2020 came along, and then everything went downhill, and it went downhill very, very fast. So I said, not saying that the virus isn't there, people aren't getting ill. I understand that is a thing, even though, touch wood, no one I know. Do you know anyone who's got it? There's a lot of people that don't know people that have it, but unfortunately there is people that do. But it's how that came about. It seems to be a perfect storm in so many reasons. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like economical. Yeah. It seems to be that it's just too perfect in a sense of, how do I even...
The world was almost going to shut down anyway, innit? It was almost like we were nearing...
I'm trying to think of how to articulate this in the best way. But even as you were just saying, for the economically, it was the world was in a recession, or say like the UK was in a recession. Most of the world is going to enter a recession soon. We're still just stringing along from 2008. In 2008, the last recession, who was to blame? The bankers and so on. But no one went to jail, no one got in trouble. And then the economy has been propped up since 2008 till now. Keep printing money, quantitative easing. We know a lot more about that because of our trading background, which we can get to in the future. But basically, we're skating on thin ice, and we're running on empty. The economy was, and it was something we had to give. There's going to be a recession. There's always going to be recessions. Like your parents, our parents, or grandparents, they would have lived through three or four recessions. So there's always going to be another one. But being from a trading background, we've always said that we think that the next one's going to be bad. Yeah. And then moving into cryptocurrency, that's where your side of it comes in. But it's just, now that there's been a recession, it's almost like, there's now going to be a reason why the world went into recession. It's not these people's fault. Yeah. They didn't do anything wrong. It's because restaurants had to close down because of coronavirus. Yeah. The different countries had to shut down for this long because of the coronavirus. And that's what's going to get the blame. That's like being put in the forefront and to blindside you of the real shit that's going on behind the scenes and the real problems. Yeah. And they're just putting it out in front and being like, this is to fool the masses and be like, that's the problem.
Because how can you question the COVID narrative if it's killing people? And like people can't comprehend in their minds that this can be, maybe the virus isn't necessarily faked, but what we are doing around the virus, to whether that's to maintain it or allegedly to stop it and whatever, people can't comprehend in their heads that can be scripted. Yeah. And there are potentially agendas behind it.
And this is sort of why we're here, to give our view. There's going to be loads of people that may agree, loads of people that won't agree, but this is what our view is.
And I think we welcome both. I think we should welcome hate. Like, if you don't agree, leave a comment.
But always welcome every point of view. Never be too ignorant to shut off someone else's. Like, we can be open to listen to someone else's point of view. But it's... What was the last point you just said?
About how it can be scripted. Yeah. And people deny it's an agenda.
It's like just being open-minded to think, all right, there could be a lot more to this. There could be an alternative scenario than what I think. And what we were saying about, that's what I was going to get to. What we were saying about being ridiculously real is the fact that a lot of people might think what we're about to say or we're saying, but they don't feel like they can come out and say it. Yeah. Because they'll get ridiculed by family or people on Twitter or people on Instagram. So people might have different thoughts, but they don't feel like, no one feels like they have a voice anymore to come out and say, this is what I feel, like it or not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what we're basically here to do. Like, this is what we're thinking, and trying just to give people another option to say, okay, well, maybe this isn't as straightforward as it's being made out to be, and the media, and that's a big problem with it. When you're saying scripted, the media is scripting everything to you.
They're our source of information.
Yeah.
But how can you trust the source of information when they've proven to have lied time and time again? But it's like what you said. It's a good point. I welcome every possible theory for any topic whatsoever, whether that's like the biggest conspiracy of them all, 9/11. Like, you have to accept people's opinions. Like, critical thinking now is so frowned upon. You're not allowed to have an opinion besides the narrative that the mainstream media is given.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just labelled conspiracy theorist.
Exactly. Yeah. But conspiracy theorist is a label given to make you anyone who questions the narrative to be crazy. Yeah. Or like, it's like sitting there with a tinfoil hat on their head.
You're fucking crazy if you don't question the narrative.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you realise, like, who sits there and the news is just like, this happened, and you're like, cool, safe, let me carry on with my day. But it's like, in the back of your mind, are you not thinking
there could be something else?
Yeah. But like, I think
but a lot of people take everything, what's it called? They just at face value.
Yeah.
A lot of people take everything as face value. What's on the front of the tabloid newspaper or what's on the news, as they expect it to be real. Why would people lie to us?
That is it. That's the biggest
but then
problem.
Where you go down the rabbit hole, which I know you've been down, is
I still haven't come back up.
Exactly, and it's hard to come back up once you go down it, because when you start thinking, okay, well, so say today we go, all right, well, question why the media might lie to you. Then you go down that rabbit hole. Who controls the media?
Yeah.
Who does the same person control 80-90% of the media?
Yeah.
And then you come back and you're like, actually, there is truth in, or they can see that there could be some truth in what we're saying. That there is a narrative, that there could be a reason to lie.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest problem when it comes to wealthy families and stuff as well. It doesn't necessarily mean it's like the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers like everyone goes for, but I think most people's basic conception of wealth or who controls the world is celebrities. They just think like Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, a billionaire, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, they think celebrities are like their main things. They think bankers are a few people, but they don't realise the real wealthy people, they're not in the media. They're not on reality TV.
Yeah. They're hidden.
They're hidden. They're families. They're wealthy families. Or if not, it's bankers that have stakes in all these different businesses. Like, we know the biggest conspiracy right now is the Bill Gates stuff, obviously. The whole vaccine and all that.
The vaccine. The Bill Gates the vaccine.
The vaccine, all that stuff. But he's got.
So what is that? So what is that actually? Because I don't know too much about it. So you know.
So I haven't even looked into it properly myself, but it's just going all over Twitter. He's basically adamant that he is going to. I think he's funded 4 different companies to get the vaccine out as soon as possible, and I think the problem is where people are not waking up. We're letting Bill Gates, who works in the tech industry, he's not a doctor. He's not, he's not a nurse or anything like that. It's a guy in the tech industry who's built a very successful platform, I guess you could say. We're letting him become the man who's potentially telling us what we need to fight this virus, when he's proven that he's got an invested stake in vaccine experiments, vaccine testing, and potentially getting a vaccine out as soon as possible. And I don't really get into the political stuff, but it's all linked to like the Democrats, the Republicans, all of that rubbish. It's all just a big link, but I stay away from the political side. But I think the general thesis is, why are we letting a man like Bill Gates dictate whether or not we need a vaccine, and why should it be a mandatory vaccine?
Yeah.
I think that's a big
mandatory. The word mandatory, like what you have to have it.
Mandatory, have to have it.
That's what I mean. Like, again, that's where there's going to be problems in the future. Like, have to have it. Like, why should you have to have anything?
But it's touching into, people don't realise we're in that phase now.
Yeah.
You've just said you can't turn left into a road because they've said you cannot turn left into that road.
Or they've not even told you.
No,
they've put a block up and said it's not even like it's like it's not even an option now. It's like there's only one way for you to go.
They are literally. It's all. It's not just about. Again, if we go into the whole financial crisis side, I know you said there's another recession coming. I personally think we've stayed in a recession since 2008.
We're in a recession.
We've been in it. They actually announced it officially that we are in one as well, 2 months ago now.
Only just now, because of GDP growth.
The debt bubble's been growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
We haven't actually recovered from 2008. We've just artificially covered it.
Well, that bubble's been inflated more and more and more, and it's like, visually, you can just imagine a bubble just getting more air and air blown aside, and the bang is going to be even louder.
I think a good representation. I think I was high. I was on Twitter, and I was like, the best way of looking at it is like looking at a brand new Lamborghini showroom, the front is shiny, glossy, glistening, but in the back, in the stock room, the pipes are burst, there's shit on the floor, there's pigeons
oil
there.
everywhere, literally oil spills.
So from the showroom it looks good, but then in the back
behind you don't know what's going on. Yeah.
And then eventually that would go
like
bust.
a lot of restaurants and stuff.
Like old restaurants.
That's why you don't get to see the kitchen.
We need Gordon Ramsay going in there and just being like, Josh, like done.
Yeah.
But I think that is why this is happening. To be honest with you, I'm just going to be honest. I think
why? What's happening?
This whole COVID bullshit.
Yeah,
it's a hoax, in my opinion. I'll outright say it's a hoax. I was a bit on the edge of thinking that until yesterday happened.
Yeah,
and then that pushed me over the edge, and I was like,
with the latest news coming out. Right, I mean, there's conspiracy theories, or not even a conspiracy theory. It's like what you said. Just because you have an alternative view, as to being like, we're not even saying we believe in the conspiracy theories. We're just saying that we think that there's something more to it than what you're hearing on the everyday news. That the virus would happen in China, and then all of a sudden it was everywhere else. And then now we're in the situation that we're in. That we think that it wasn't as simple and clear cut as that. That a virus started, and now we're in the state we're in. And it seems to be a virus that has affected everyone. It's affected the old, mainly. Do you know what I mean? There's more. There can be a conspiracy theory in that.
If you want to think of it that way, pensions.
Exactly. Pensions. That was again for the economy. Economies couldn't afford to pay the pension. A lot of pensions in a lot of countries. Overpopulation. If you think about the world is overpopulated now. We can't create enough food fast enough to feed us. That's why they're now looking into making fake burgers, and because we can't farm animals quick enough. But do you know what I mean? Like fake beef and stuff like that. That tastes like beef. But the world can't. So we're overpopulated at the moment. And then there's a virus that can come along and wipe out most of the elderly. And then this new world order. I think we were also talking. What kind of scares me a little bit. Like there's a feeling of dread about all of this. And one of the things that I don't like is how. See, to us this is strange, but then to children growing up, they're not going to know any different. No. Like for my little girl, she doesn't even question when I'm wearing one of these now. Like we went out yesterday, and at first she used to make like she's only young, but she's like 15, 16 months. So at first, when it first came in, she used to just look at it weird, but she was too young to do anything. But now she just doesn't. She can't. There's no like, take that off your face, or why are you wearing that, or gives me a funny look. She now thinks it's just normal that when you go out the house, that you have to put one of these on. Because
it's not just you; it's everyone she looks at.
Yeah. So it's almost out with the old, in with the new, literally. Do you know what I mean? So there's so many. There's reasons there, and that's what I mean. It seems like a perfect storm. Like economically, for so many different reasons, but it's just I think it's not looking pretty, is it? As you said, we had a little bit of a glimmer of hope before before the 2020. We might finish off 2020 in a bit more positive, and then bang, as soon as the holiday season's over, like August and stuff, come into September. And bang, now it's like, reducing back to only being allowed 6 people, quarantine places. So look what's just happened to us. Like literally booked a holiday to go away this weekend, and then a couple of days later added onto the quarantine list.
And it's like police actually come to your door and check.
Do they though?
Apparently they do, because Jen, my
girlfriend. How can they go to everyone's door? Look how many thousands of people.
I guess so, but maybe I don't know. But
it's a scare tactic. But I think. Sorry, I'll let you finish. No, but apparently it just triggered me there. But I'm just like,
it is dumb though, innit? It's just like, come on.
How many people are on one plane?
Yeah.
How many people are on the hundreds of planes coming in each day? There's thousands of people coming in each day. They haven't got enough people to police the streets, much less to go around knocking on doors, making sure that you're quarantined.
Put that into perspective for a second. The fact that you've just said thousands of people on planes, thousands of people interacting with each other across the journey of crossing countries. Yeah. Do you really think 14 days quarantine is going to save it?
Yeah.
You walk into the fucking airport, you're now... Yeah. Masks do not... They can halt the process slightly or delay it, but these do not save you from getting a virus. I think what drives me mad is they've like weaponized COVID so much to make it look like this killer virus, but it's a cold, it's a flu.
It's a flu, yeah.
That you normally
it's just a
kill.
new strand
It's
of the flu.
just a slight different strain that they haven't figured out yet. But why are we suddenly, like, they're looking at the death rates of COVID, but they're forgetting the death rates of the simple flu every year. Like, the stats have only just come out, I think 2 weeks ago, that 94 or 98% of all the deaths were not a direct cause of COVID. It was, they caught COVID.
They admitted it, didn't they?
And then it slowly...
They had underlying health
problems.
problems.
Underlying health problems. But that's what the normal flu does. So the fact is, there's just another flu that's come out. And this is what people need to realise. It's another strain of the flu that's no different to any other flu. It kills people maybe even less than what our current flu does. But you know when you normally have flu season, we all get ill.
Yeah.
We just fucking deal with it. We carry on with life.
Yeah.
Now, we're shutting down the entire economy. It's ridiculous. And people are forgetting of deaths, not just from that. We're just so fixated on like 180,000 have died in America. All these big scary numbers to shit you up.
Yeah.
If you look at the rates now of heart attacks, strokes,
I was just about to say that. And if you look at, say, from smoking, what the death rate is from smoking, but there's not a pandemic about stopping people from smoking.
Why cigarettes still legal?
Yeah. Alcohol even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, the numbers are much higher, but there's nothing, there's not a big pandemic about stopping people taking tobacco off the shelves. I mean, but why? Again, you can go into that, but they're heavily taxed. Who gets the money from the tax? The government. So it's profitable for the governments for you to be smoking, even though it's other countries maybe not, but it's a strain on the national health care. But I wasn't expecting to talk about that side of things today. That's where you veer off. Yeah, but that's where you veer off, and you have to think like there's this and there's that, and you have to question everything and come to your own conclusion, sort of thing.
But you also want to put in perspective what you've just said as well. So we're thinking fines, tax, all this stuff. So if we get caught without a mask several times, they can fine you up to £3,500. That's more than most people make in a month.
Yeah, well, that's
pre-tax.
Yeah.
Plus, we're in a current recession. Plus, they've shut down the entire global economy.
Yeah.
But you can still fine people $3,500.
Yeah. Where did that figure come from as well?
It's just, it's almost like
but
they want us to crumble. Yeah. To then say the recession. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there definitely is a recession coming. But how long it can get propped up for. But just talking about scare tactics again, is that we met up last week, and remember I said that I jumped on a train, and I forgot my mask. So then when I was on the platform, I realised I didn't have it. But as I was about to step on the train, I was like, oh shit, fuck, I forgot my mask. So the first thing I did was I looked around to see who had one on, and no one had it. Like, and there was about 10 people on the platform. No one had it. Then I was like, oh, actually, it won't be too bad. I'll just chance it, jumped onto the train. I think one person on the whole, on my carriage at the time had a mask on, everyone else didn't. Now, today, when the news came out yesterday, everyone had them on again. So the scare tactic is just bang. Yeah. Everyone was like, it felt like yesterday, everyone was like, I've got my own thoughts on it. Fuck it. I don't think we have to wear it. Yeah. COVID's fake. But then news came out, and now today, everyone's wearing a mask again. So it's that scare tactic, and now everyone's worried.
It's mad. It's like even in Waterloo Station earlier, there was armed security just standing there watching for people. There's a massive sign next to him. Please ensure you're wearing a mask. It's just crazy. It's just when you look at the world, it's like a film.
Yeah.
Like we're getting into that like futuristic iRobot style. Everything's going to be systemated, automated.
But you put up a good tweet about the future, and you were like, 1990, in 20 years' time or 30 years' time, we're going to live in such a futuristic world. And today, 2020, and someone just
the woman in like a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. There's people going to their local supermarket. In America, they're going Walmart. Here, they're going Tesco's. And they're head to toe in fucking like what they would wear in like Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And they're doing that to go and scan at the self-checkout. It's like, how scared can you be? It's crazy.
But that's the thing, it affects people differently. It scares some people more. There's people going out now without masks. There's people with... Yeah. But, I mean, we wear them because... But I mean, that's what I said. You
can't avoid it.
Yeah.
It's a flu. We're wearing this, that's great. They say hand sanitize, that's great. But how many people go to the toilet and still don't wash their hands?
Yeah.
Touch the door handle there. Touch the table. Yeah.
And it's so inconsistent is the problem.
That is the word.
Like I was going to just mention it on a tweet. I was going to say, like, Do you know how many people I see wearing a mask, but then they've got it pulled down under their nose?
That's me, to be fair.
I'm
like this. I literally just wear it like that.
A hairnet for your beard.
I'm just like,
yeah, but what's the point?
I wear it so I don't get fined.
Yeah, but it's pointless then, because then you're breathing.
No, but that's what I'm
saying. So you're doing it purely so you don't get a fine?
So I don't get a fine. I'll wear it like this so I can breathe, because also, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
And apparently it's actually dangerous for your health to wear these 24/7. But
do you know what I mean? But what's the point? Like, just don't bother then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to wear it, but I'm saying, obviously, when you see police, I'll just leave it like that quickly. But then obviously I'll take it off after.
You're scared of the police.
Scared of shit. But it's like, why the hassle? Like, in my head, it hurts me. Like, you know, when you get a parking ticket.
Yeah,
£60 fine, for example. Now it's a £130 fine to drive in a bus lane. It's all a scam. Like, you get a £60 fine, for example. I know this is a bit off topic, but it fits in with the whole fine vibe.
Yeah.
They're fabricating these fines out of thin air. So if you get £6 for parking on a double yellow line, that yellow line was not there when the earth was made. Some fucker drew that and put that there and then just said, you can't park on that yellow line. It's man-made.
Obviously, like some yellow lines, there's a reason for it.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Because, like, you don't want to park there, it's going to cause a problem.
Yeah, but I'm saying in general, like when they put them on the side of the street.
Yeah, in some places. I understand the gist of what you're trying to say. But I'm like, if there's a red line...
I'm sick of paying fines, basically.
Or a yellow line, it's because don't be an idiot and park here because it's like you're blocking the way. But I understand what you're trying to say, in a sense. But talking about that and in keeping... I was talking today to someone about... I went into the City of London yesterday, so we have to pay congestion charge to go into the city. So at the moment, they've raised, during COVID, when people have less money, people have less jobs, it's only a £3 a day rise, but it's still a lot if you work in the city or whatever. So they've raised it from £12 to only to drive into the city to 15. Yeah, so they've raised what it is for a car to stop people driving in, which would be safer COVID-wise, to push you into getting public transport, which is unsafer.
Well, you say that, but it's not only unsafer, but I think I paid about £15, £16 for a London travel card today to go back and forth from here to home, and I live in London. Yeah. To get a travel card from zones 1 to 6, it was like 15 quid.
That's why we jumped on. We both got to train it to meet up with each other today, because the driving situation is just driving us nuts and taking hours. And it's like you're saying obviously it costs that much anyway. But with raising the congestion charge going into the city, that's pushing you onto public transport. Yeah. But public transport is pushing you with more people.
Yeah, exactly.
So at this time, surely you should be like, okay, well, you're in your bubble, you're in your car, going to and from work, don't raise it and make it more expensive. Yeah. And now it's 7 days a week where it used to be 5 days.
And I think they're even saying with the bus lane thing, they're doing it to maintain social distancing on the streets and the roads. So I don't know the logic behind it. I don't know the logic behind anything that's really going on.
So what is the bus lane thing?
So now bus lanes 24/7 are operating. No cars are allowed to drive.
So you can't go into the lane.
Any given moment, £130 fine.
So it's like they're trying to take cars off the road. Yeah. Because there's also bike lanes on every road now. So they're really trying to reduce how much you drive and get you to go like by bike or by foot now.
Everything's being automated. Cars off the road. Cash gone.
Cash is another big point.
It's gone. I mean, look, I've been talking about this since 2017. I've been telling
cash
people,
will come into your territory of crypto quite a bit. We've spoken about this a few times about, is that why crypto is here? We spoke about this years ago. Yeah. And it's come to light a lot quicker than I think we expected a little bit, I would say.
I think the worst thing is because of the whole financial crisis side. I think I wrote an article in 2017, December or something like that, saying that around 2020 is when we're going to start seeing a shift to not only the recession becoming official, but also a cashless society. And
what made you think that of 2020?
There was something about the number 2020, first of all. When you know that how these kind of governments operate,
it's those psychological levels.
Psychological level. It's like support and resistance.
Yeah, yeah.
2020 is like a new marker. It's like a checkpoint of this is where the next phase of the agenda goes. But just reading into the numbers of the debt bubble, there's you can even go on Google and look at a US debt clock, and you just see it racking up, just flying. And I was just like, this shit has to pop. They cannot inflate this forever.
Yeah.
And it's just piecing, and obviously looking at crypto when it boomed in 2017, I knew it was bound to happen. Like cash.
We could see the link between the two back then, which is one of the reasons why we were involved.
Yeah, and we got in very early and at a very good point in time. And I think when you look at what's happening now, you realise when we're in this state now where we're in a surveillance state, like the Hunger Games society, they call it. 'Cause it's like the Hunger Games. Everything's being monitored, tracked, traced. Look at the look at the COVID track and trace now. There's apps that track and trace you. The vaccines, apparently they want to track and trace you of chips. I don't know if that's true or not. But look at now, we're going on holiday. We've had to fill in a form online.
Yeah.
We're going here. We're staying for this long.
Yeah.
Now you need to quarantine when you're home. Everything's being tracked. So
and it's literally called track and trace.
They're literally telling you we are going to track and trace you.
Yeah, yeah.
To ensure social distancing measures and all that bullshit. So it's inevitable that our payments are going to be tracked at some point as well.
Exactly. Well, that's a perfect way of actually.
And look at cash.
Yeah.
That is a loophole for people to dodge tax.
Yeah.
But then you look at the blockchain, everything. This is the biggest misconception as well. People think blockchain, and I'm in crypto, but I'll admit this. People thought of Bitcoin as like, fuck the government, fuck the banks. We'll go under the radar, private transactions. But if that was true, you wouldn't have dark web marketplaces getting busted. You wouldn't have paedophile rings getting busted on the dark net.
True, yeah.
These people are getting tracked by crypto.
Yeah.
It's a transparent ledger.
Yeah.
So imagine if our entire banking infrastructure is based on the blockchain. You can see absolutely everything. There will be no tax avoidance ever again.
Well, that's exactly what I believe is going to happen. That's what we kind of thought years ago. Well, about 3-4 years ago, when we first were getting into Bitcoin.
3-4. Well, I got into Bitcoin quite early, to be fair. I was first playing around with it in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
But when we first invested, especially in the other stuff, 2016, 2017.
Yeah. When it became a little bit more not say mainstream, but just before the boom,
which was beautiful.
Yeah, but that's what we were thinking. I remember at that time telling a few family members who never heard of Bitcoin, never really heard of cryptocurrency. At that point, I was saying, like, in about 10 years, I don't think there'll be cash. And they were just like, they'd laugh again. Exactly what we're saying about being ridiculously real, and just voicing your opinion that something different might be happening. Yeah. And then people laugh at you or might ridicule you. So I was like, in about 10 years, I can see that there'll be a cashless society. And it was like, no way, blah, 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 blah. And then say like 5 years, if you had asked me last year, if the same people asked me and said, right, when do you still think it's going to be a cashless society? I said, yeah, I'd say give it another 5 years. 6 months into 2020, and I'm like, it's around the corner. Yeah, it's like next year. Because at the moment, we can't pay for, like, this bottle of wine today, went into a shop.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we don't accept cash.
Yeah.
We just had lunch. Had to pay. Like, there's nobody takes cash, and to be fair, it's not really used that much anymore. Anyway.
But even coins. Like, I went to Starbucks and Costa the other day, and even last time we met up when I got off the train, I went to Starbucks. I was dying for just the water. No, we don't accept cash. I was like, please take my £1 coin. Like, I need to drink. I'm going to die. And they were like, we don't accept cash.
Can't accept it. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because I left my card that day as well. So I was like, what does someone do?
Yeah,
especially if their business might still be in cash. A lot of people still do deal in cash. That might be changing.
But that's where they got to catch up now. Yeah. It's like one way or the other. You just got to catch up.
Digital. Everything is just like, this is Big Brother. I used to think people were fucking nuts talking about this stuff, but now we are literally in Big Brother.
And that's the scary feeling, that it feels like it could be becoming true. Because, as I said, with cash, the governments don't like cash because obviously there could be deals that are done that there's no tax and VAT being paid and so on. But cash makes the world go round, like on the smaller businesses, like you think market stalls and this and that. But even now, technology's gone to a way that every penny will be accounted for, which is like what you're saying about on the blockchain. Like every penny will be accounted for. So no matter how you move your money around, it can be traced. It'll be like, oh, you spent 1p here, or you spent £100 there, or you spent 10 grand. Everything will be traced. So everything will be tracked, and everything will have to be taxed or. Do you know what I mean?
That includes information as well and data. You can send things across in smart contracts. You can send data across on the ledger. So we're basically...
Explain that a bit more.
So data.
Yeah.
So let's just say a good example of smart contracts was something for like the NHS, like encrypted files, like customer files, patient files on the blockchain. So it's being transmitted across the ledger. So it's secure, it's safe, and it can only... Smart contracts basically work under certain protocols. And a bit like what was someone else saying the other day. Basically, the best way to explain it's very hard to just explain off the bat how a smart contract operates. But under certain protocols, it will activate or distribute itself, or it will lock itself away, or it will open and close. So there's different ways to utilize those. But it's not just smart contracts. It could just be information transacted across on a coin, as an example. But the thesis here is everything is tracked. Can't get away from anything. Didn't you just say there was CCTV now, apparently, in toilets?
I read that. I didn't really pay attention to it, so I can't talk on it because it could be completely wrong. But I saw something about that they're allowing CCTV in toilets, just not in the cubicle when you're trying to take a shit, basically. But it's okay to have something like that. But I won't go into that because I don't know too much about it.
But at this point in time, it will probably happen.
Yeah.
I've come to that point now where I'm just like, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me anymore.
That's the one thing with 2020 is that anything can happen at any time. Like every week something new happens, and it's just you just have to be prepared to be shocked at any time that something might happen tomorrow, and it'll be like, But people aren't even getting shocked at things anymore. They're like, just throw that in with 2020. Yeah. Everyone's just like, can we just start 2021, please? But because it's that psychological thing that you said, it's like you just want to wipe the slate clean, like get over with the year and start a new year.
Yeah. Until these people don't realise that COVID doesn't expire at the end of 2020. It
expires at 10 p.m. when everyone goes to bed.
It expires at 10 p.m. and if you're in groups of 6 or more, it'll come for you. If you're at a wedding, it likes weddings, so it doesn't go to weddings or football matches because obviously. But do you see how dumb that is?
Yeah.
Do you see how fucking stupid that is?
Just doesn't make sense. But well, I said there might be some logic where they'll come out and explain it. At the moment, it's just a lot of these things are rumored. But it doesn't make sense now.
Like, there's a killer flu on the loose. Yeah, killed 180,000, 200,000 people. If you play football, it doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
But you can't catch it.
Exactly.
But if you're getting married,
it
takes a little day off that day.
I said there's always going to be people say, give you the answer to the questions that you're asking. Which there probably are answers, but it's even, I think we're especially sort of annoyed with it because I think like a lot of people in the UK feel that the government haven't handled it right. So therefore, the people who are supposed to be looking after you haven't. I think there was a poll and they were like 70 or more percent or 8% of people in the UK feel like it was handled in the wrong way. I think that's a part of it, and that's where people are just getting a bit annoyed by the whole situation.
Yeah, I agree because obviously I went on a little Twitter rant today, but I think I went one the other day as well, and people messaging me like, bro,
every day,
every day basically, and they were like, you think it's bad in the UK? Like people are getting arrested in Australia now for tweeting or posting on Facebook.
I saw that
anti-COVID like posts or something. I don't know what they said in particular.
There was a woman who I think she was organising like an anti something, like I don't know if it was 5 people that was going to turn up or it was 100, but she was organising something where she was like against basically what we're saying is that people are getting told what to do, and then the police came to her house, tracked her down, and arrested her in front of her kids because she was so you're being tracked to your house. So yeah, she was like, I can't believe I'm being arrested, and her husband was filming it. Yeah. So she got arrested in front of her 2 little kids because on Facebook she organised an anti-rally. So like to voice your opinion, just for voicing your opinion, they tracked down where she lived and when they arrested her. Whether I don't know what happened after that, but I think that's what you were saying about how. What is there something where people got something free from Google? You're
Google
like
Nest.
Yeah, Nest. Yeah. What is that? Is it
Google Nest? It's like
a Siri.
Siri. What's the other one? Alexa.
Like Alexa and
it's
a
like
home.
One of them Alexa devices from Sonos and stuff.
Yeah. So what have they given them out for free?
Given them out free with a Spotify Premium.
So who makes them?
Google.
So was it a Google Nest?
It's called a Google
Nest. Who
have partnered with Spotify to give every premium Spotify user a free Google Nest. Now, I'm not being funny.
Because I saw everyone was like, oh, I've got, and then you were like,
I was like,
enjoy your free.
I was like, you lot have just.
But explain that, because obviously people don't see your tweet. What did you say?
People don't realise. Oh, I forgot what I said.
But you were like, enjoy your free nest. You're being like, just understand you're being listened to.
Okay, now I remember what I said. The product is for free, yeah? I have a very key rule in life. If you're buying or if you're given a free product, that means you as the consumer are the product.
Oh, that was it. You said you're the consumer.
You're being given a free product, right? So they're making no money from it. So what are they obtaining besides obviously a little bit of marketing and reputation boost? They are obtaining you as the product. You are now the product.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you short, but just as what you're saying is that then no one's question, but not everyone goes, oh, I'll take a free one, but don't question
Consumerism,
it.
buy,
I want one, so they can have it in the house and use it, but they don't think, why am I getting this for free? Nothing comes for free in life. So it's like, why are these companies building or making these at a cost to them to send out to you? Obviously, it would be to promote Spotify and stuff like that, but there's always something more to it.
There's always an agenda with these companies. I think that's actually, we've kind of summarized why the podcast is essential as well. We're asking the questions that people maybe don't even know they should be asking. Maybe not even too scared, but some people, it doesn't even cross their minds. They're just thinking, free promo, sick. I'll get that straight away. Now you've got a device in your home. Google has been caught many times breaching data. Facebook, it's all interlinked.
It's a proven fact that they can hear you through.
Look at Instagram.
And there was the Alexa one was like, I saw it in England, there's a TV show called Watchdog. But they were like showing how it records all of the things that you've asked it or things that you've said and that you think you might have asked. So it's picking up what you're saying, and it's all recorded to a massive database. Think of all the houses in the world that these things are in.
They're trying to build supercomputers.
And
quantum computers are massive, like super AI brains that are going to outsmart human beings, like almost a core AI head that will just be like, I saw it I don't know if it was Black Mirror or if it was in Westworld. You ever seen Westworld?
No.
There's like a massive AI head.
What is that on, like Netflix or something?
Sky,
yeah.
It's sick.
But Black Mirror is
Black Mirror is real life. And I tell people this Black Mirror is happening now. And people aren't realising that.
But just like what we're saying with the Nest, is that, isn't it been proven that these things that they can listen to you? It's like it's like, a lot of people, I think even Mark Zuckerberg himself, on his laptop, you always cover your, and a lot of people do it, they cover the lens on your laptop, because at any moment they can look and hear you through.
I've got my iMac facing my bed. Sometimes I sleep naked.
Oh, yeah?
On a hot night, I like to sleep naked. The last thing I need is a scandal going online because some fuckers hack my iMac. These people,
because they can hack it and see.
You don't know. It's not worth the risk. So I just thought I'd share that with you, just to let you know.
Thanks for that one.
Internet safety is essential.
That's a nice mental image.
I think it's important to note, like, people don't realise, the Google Nest or the Siri and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've got the Sonos speakers, but I've turned off the Siri. But to turn on Siri, you have to say, "Hey Siri." And then Siri goes, "Hey," but that means that fucker was listening the whole time. Yeah,
exactly. They're on in the background.
They're on.
I got one. And then I think it could have been you or someone else. This was a long time ago, and said, like, I think even in the news says it's like, again, don't believe what the media tells you, but they're saying that it can. It's like, why would they say that? But then it's like they're saying that these things are listening to you. Even your TV can see and hear you. But then I'll be honest, I've only had it plugged in like twice, like, because I do think, like, because my one where I have my one is actually in my bedroom. And then I have another, like, one in the living room and stuff, but I don't use them. Mainly meant to, like, use it for music and stuff. I don't really use voice command that much. But then you think, if these things are listening, do you know what I mean? It's just a bit.
It has to, because that's how they improve the feedback and the system.
Well, basically what they're trying to do is like, I read a little while ago, Google is trying to answer your question before you ask it. So at the moment, Google is all about ask a question on Google. But where they're trying to advance and improve all the time, trying to get to a point where they're almost saying, this is what you need. Before you even, like, they know your wants before, or they know your needs before you ask for it.
It's a known fact that Google and Facebook, just to name two, they know more about us than we do. They have more
the algorithms that they build up on
us than we know about ourselves. They know if you go shopping, you're more likely inclined to buy this item out of 4 choices, for example, or you're more likely to buy this color mask instead of that color mask. They know.
It's like, even I think something I saw was what's the UK supermarket company, Ocado? Yeah, but they basically work on it. They know what people are going to want. Like, to quicken up their speed of what they're ordering and what they're getting into, and it goes out. They've got all the algorithms working. So I think they showed their factory where it's just like every second saved is money. I mean, when they deliver, because then they have to deliver it. So they're always building their infrastructure to make things quicker and quicker. So they know what you're going to want. They know what everyone's going to want. So they can then work on that. So it's knowing the user, basically. But as you said, they know the user almost better than you know yourself.
It's mad, because a lot, obviously, when you talk about that whole automation stuff, people are like, oh, we're going to lose our jobs to robots. But I think almost in like 20, 30 years, maybe even less, like the way the world's going right now, I reckon 10 years, 5 years, it won't be that we'll lose our jobs to robots. It'll be that we'll be working almost for the robots. We'll almost be working to maintain the robots whilst they do their automated processes. Yeah. That's something I thought about the other day.
Yeah, at the moment, it's like nothing's even. It's not even like, at the moment. Said that a few years ago, you'd be like, "You're mad," or "Your conspiracy theories." Is like what we're saying, but now nothing is off the shelf. Yeah, everything is a possibility. Like, if anyone says anything to me, I'm like, I'll take that into consideration. Yeah. I'll have a little think about it.
Sometimes I'll send you a few documentaries. You might be a bit mad, but you'll be like, all right, fair enough.
This is a bit crazy, but then like, I'm very open to everything. So sometimes I won't have made up my decision or my opinion on something yet. It's still up for debate, but I'm taking things in. But I'm not being sold on one thing. Like, I'm not being sold on what the media tells me. I'm not being sold on what one person tells me. You're there to listen and to take in different things and make your own decision.
I think the good thing about this virus, because it is like so ridiculous at this point, people have started questioning. People have woken up. Like, even UK meme pages or US meme pages, they're posting about this stuff now. Yeah, being like, it's not adding up. It doesn't make sense. But I think the scariest thing is that kind of hit me on the train today. It's almost a curse to be woke. It's almost a curse to know what's going on.
Because then you're ridiculed.
You can't do it. You can't do anything. Like, you
can't do anything about it.
Now we can't do anything about it.
And that's the feeling that's almost worse as well. Yeah. It's like, if you know something, but no one's listening, or you can't do anything about it.
I was generally just trying to think, how would we, if this was all to be true, it was a massive hoax and the world shifting to be controlled further by the select few people that do currently control the world anyway. What the fuck are we going to do? What do you actually do to get out of it? So
don't get me wrong. I hope that all the conspiracy theories and everything is a load of shit. Yeah. And that we live in this great, wonderful world. But nice. it's just not like that, is it? And I think, not wanting to put I won't say sour note on it, but I think that things are potentially going to get worse before they get better, I think. Yeah. I think the world needs a bit of a reset. There's going to be a recession shortly, whether it's in the next 6 months or a year. And that's potentially where your side of things step in again, like what we were saying, is where crypto takes over. But just go back to the cashless society, which we're talking about, is at the moment we find it very hard to buy a drink in a pub, or go into a shop, or go and buy some lunch. So it's getting phased out with the old, in with the new, like what we said earlier. So I think it's going to be fairly soon that we move into a digital world where everything is even our money is digital. And I think that's where the next step. And if you think 5-10 years down the line, there won't be cash anymore. And everything's going to be like how at the moment you pay for things on you can just touch your iPhone onto a payment thing, or your watch, or its card. Even eventually, you might not even use cards anymore. It might just literally.
We're going to get chips soon. People are just going to be chips there. Yeah. Done.
Because that's it's more or less, there has to be a chip in your phone that does that.
Because we're becoming increasingly lazier as well as a species.
Exactly.
So this automation is like, they're making us lazy. They want us to rely, they want us to rely on automation, basically.
Well, that's a good point that you said. A lot of things are based on making things easier. like every app you have on your phone or things, a lot of things are just done. It's constantly trying to make things easier for us, or we're trying to make things easier for ourselves. And so you don't have to do things the harder way, which is obviously good in certain cases and stuff like that.
There's
but
benefits to technology, but it's destroying us at the same time. I think, like if you look back at our ancestors, like there's proof now that there's potentially lost civilizations and ancient civilizations that were inhabiting this earth, potentially even 100,000 plus years ago. Now, when they were hungry, what would they do? You'd have they'd obviously hunt it with their bare hands. They would cook it. They would do it. Now, if I'm hungry, Uber Eats, bang, McDonald's comes straight away, pizza comes straight away. And we're accustomed to just
and even laziness. That, because of the use of ease, it's like, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, is that like I've been at home sometimes and you might get in late, might get in from work late, or you might get in from the gym late, whatever it is, and you think, fuck it, I can't be bothered to cook tonight. And you just go to your phone and it's like Uber Eats, bang, like 1, 2, 3, and it's done. And then it's just the ease of you, but it's like, it's the old. There's a lot of the old traditional ways that are going out the window a little bit. You know what I mean? Which is a bit.
It's a crazy time, man.
Yeah, it's a different. Things have changed a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, I do think it's going to continue into 2021.
Yeah, definitely. But you can't think that it's going to end in 2021, and it's just going to. We can write off 2020 as a bit more.
Yeah,
I don't think we can write off 2020 as it was just all in 2020 and then it's going to be good.
We've almost got to write off 2021 just to prepare ourselves. I like to prepare for the worst, or just accept. I think at this point now, I've accepted that it could go either way. I think it will eventually get better, but we're going to live in a much more stricter society and everyone's going to be very scared. People are shit scared now. You see it around. Like, you go near someone, you get like that close, and they're like, huh. Yeah. And I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro? I'm not ill. I'm fine. Like, I'm okay. I've sanitized. I'm not ill. But people see someone without a mask on. But that's the worst thing. If you're not wearing this now, you are looked at like a criminal.
Yeah. But you say that, and I agree in certain extents. But then it's like, as I said, last week, everyone was walking around without them. It's because there was nothing in the news about it. People weren't really worried. But then it's bang, a scare tactic. Yeah. It's getting worse.
They said the cases dropped last week as well, or 2 weeks ago, which is why people were like, all right, cool.
Yeah. But I just think that people got used to the idea and thought it was passing by, and then bang, out of nowhere, it comes back again. But I think it's going to be like that up and down sort of thing, scare tactics, whatever the case may be. But remember, COVID happened just after the winter. Just after. I think we came in like February, wasn't it? So I think we just were the back end of winter, obviously in the UK anyway. So it could have been a lot worse. Obviously, the flu comes when in the winter.
Yeah, in the winter.
So it could have been a lot worse. We haven't got back round to that. So when we get back to winter again, it could pick back up. So people will have to. What's that? It was a brace yourself. Winter's coming.
Oh, yeah. That.
But yeah, like the winter, the worst time to get the flu is coming ahead. So yeah, we spoke about COVID quite a bit. It wasn't really our plan, but I think it was just that this came up. The news came out yesterday that the UK's sort of taken a step back, and we kind of felt a way about it.
I think it's an important subject to cover.
Yeah.
I think, don't forget, because we've only done this podcast now, we have missed potentially what could have been many other topics about this matter over the past few months, and we've got the latest news that we've managed to deliver.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot more, like, it's going to come up again and again. We're going to go more depth on future.
I like the way it went.
Yeah.
I like the way it went. I think we could even do things where we ask people to vote for theirs. We should give the people their say as well and let them choose topics. We can let them vote maybe. We can have a little, choose out the best topics, or we give them the topics we've considered. They then let us know which ones they like. But yeah, I'm looking forward to covering everything.
I think we've got a lot more. We've got a lot more to cover. A lot more that we want to go over. We've got loads of the next episode and more episodes to talk about many different things. Yeah, giving other people to give them a shout out and saying what they'd like to hear as well. But yeah, I think there's loads for us to cover. We're going away for a nice little getaway.
2 days.
Which 3 4 days.
Well, we're going away in 2 days' time.
Oh, yeah, cool.
But like 4 days. Yeah.
So we can catch up when we get back about that. But as I said, we're going to have to be in quarantine now.
14 days.
But we're in each other's bubble, so...
Yeah, so that technically counts,
but I don't know, you can't leave, apparently you can't leave the house, is it? We might have to do this, we'll have to have a see.
Could be at home. We could do it at one of ours.
Yeah. We'll see, we'll have to see how it goes.
But that's a good example of how it's like impacted.
It's impacting everything.
Everything.
Nothing hasn't been... Going right back to the start of what I said about the perfect storm, is that it's like, okay, let's say if your, not conspiracy, but your theory of that it's being controlled by the higher people who are controlling society or controlling a lot of the governments and so on. We're going to that deeper in the future. But let's just say that they are, then it's like, if they had to sit back and think, how can we bring out something that affects absolutely every single person, every single thing, and just literally grinds a halt to everything. It's like, you couldn't have written it better.
But that's what I'm saying. This stuff must be scripted to perfection. This isn't something they just whip up overnight.
It's too well orchestrated.
This is like agenda after agenda. The New World Order, everyone talks about it. It just, I don't know, it's almost perfect, isn't it? It's got everyone scared. And it's like, if someone dares to go against the narrative, they're looked at as almost a criminal or a terrorist. It's like you're risking other people's lives by not following commands. Yeah. So it's perfect. Like if it is true, then fair play to them. They've smashed it.
If it's true,
if it's true that it is like a New World Order agenda, they've smashed it.
Exactly. It's been so well orchestrated that it's so well orchestrated that people don't see that it could. That's possible. Maybe we're wrong.
Maybe you're right.
Or maybe we're right, but who knows at the moment?
It may all be real and they've just handled it very badly. Could be as simple as that.
Just a random one that just came into my mind is that... no, it was just seen as we're talking in depth about coronavirus today, is that I saw on Instagram, which probably isn't the best feed of information, was it China or was it other countries that at the very beginning when coronavirus happened, they were showing people had died and they were lying on the street. Do you remember that?
They were dragging people out their houses, dragging them across the floor. They were dying on the streets.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
But so that's why I just thought I'd bring it up now. Like, were you so obviously for that to be in the news sort of thing, there was people. It was showing that people would.
Yeah, it was.
I kind of vaguely think I do remember, but I can't be 100%.
The very beginning when it first happened, when they started
people
showing
were
there was
literally
an outbreak in China.
dropping dead on the street, basically. But have you seen it happen since?
It hasn't happened.
So you had the initial,
very, very good point.
Yeah, you had the initial fear factor to be like, holy shit, like this thing can kill you in your step. But now, have you ever seen someone die on the street in any other country since?
No. But a lot of those were found out to be fake, like dummies.
Yeah.
I've seen video, again, you don't know if
they're
real
masks.
or not,
They were wearing masks as well.
Putting masks on dummies and just dropping them dead. Because that didn't even cross my mind. I forgot about that.
It popped up yesterday and I was thinking that's a very, very good point. A lot of the stuff that was happening at the beginning, you don't see anymore. And obviously it's cases aren't as high, but still that never happened at all in the UK. I don't see it anywhere else. But yeah, it's all a bit strange, isn't it?
It's weird. It's like, let's say don't trust China, don't trust America, don't trust UK, don't trust Russia, whatever. I don't trust any of them. Simple as that.
All the governments
I just don't trust any of them. It's just it just doesn't add up to me.
Yeah.
But that's actually, I'm gonna have to research that tonight now. It's like stuck in my head.
That's gonna be your Twitter rant tonight.
Stand there and just be like,
like outside, like a shop.
Yeah.
Like a 24-hour shop or whatever it is.
Slap on the floor, and then next thing you know, like someone will come and grab them. They'd like drag them into an ambulance and it's gone. It was
like trying to make you envision the plague or something, like hundreds of years ago.
Like that's what shit people up in the beginning. But even if you look at a good example is news reporters. I've seen videos where they've been caught on camera. The news reporter, the geezer's in shorts and a t-shirt, and he's filming someone in a hazmat suit with a mask on. So it's like you're showing what you want to show. But meanwhile, the guy filming is ready to go to the beach.
Yeah. He's in shorts and t-shirt. Yeah,
it's insane.
It's crazy. I'm sure we'll have loads more to talk about in the future ones.
There's a lot to talk about.
This is just a good kickstart to get the ball rolling. I think that we're going to have a lot more to talk about in the future. But just seen as it is our first one, and I think that a lot of people coming here will have been based off our background. Should we just throw a bit of that in before we wrap up?
Yeah, definitely. You're talking more from the trading side.
From the trading side. So obviously, I think we were planning to talk a little bit about that, but then today, the situation in the UK, the coronavirus kind of was like pushed to the forefront, and we just wanted to get a bit off our chest about that. But since this is our first podcast, most people who know of us, keep talking about Twitter and Instagram, know us from our trading background. So should we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
How's your trading been? So what should we talk about? Where should we start off? Well, I've been taking a break trading recently. I'm doing different things, but I've seen just last week, Bitcoin. I saw you had a very, very good call on that. You called it kind of against what everybody else. Actually, just throwing that in there, going against what everybody else says. Everybody with crypto was saying that the bull run was started again now, and that basically everyone was calling it for the bull run, but then you were calling that it wasn't, and to not buy but to sell, and then that's what happened. That's what turned out.
I think that's how I amassed my following in crypto as well. I've always been that person that's just like question everything or don't follow what the rest are saying.
Yeah.
And when it comes to trading, sometimes the best like a lot of the people on Twitter who are involved in the crypto space, who are mentors or analysts, they don't actually know what they're doing. They bought maybe in 2017, they're still holding on, and they're just saying, it looks bullish, we've broken this level, but they don't understand the core fundamentals and the technicals behind charts and crypto. So the same way you're a specialist on Forex, but not everyone knows the charts like you do. There's little things that I look at that many people don't seem to look at. So that's the biggest indicator sometimes. You look at the herd, all the sheep are going, buy, it's going to pop off. That's when you're at the euphoria phase, it's time to sell.
Yeah. But I think just saying that, I didn't actually say that purposely, but that fits in very well with what we were literally just saying, how obviously there's what everybody thinks, and as you just said it, following the herd, but then there's also just looking at it from a different perspective and looking at taking a step back, looking at things from perspective and saying, okay, not getting involved in the hype, not getting involved in what everybody else is saying. And then you called to sell Bitcoin from 12,400. That was a good call. I have to give hats off to you on that one.
Thank you.
But and then I think it's less than 10,000 at the moment.
It's about 10,200.
So it's just basically with what we were saying earlier, to think outside the box. Don't have your own thoughts. Look at things in a different light. And just see things for what they are. And don't get caught up in the emotion. But
you can compare that to the mainstream media.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're similar to the mainstream media, how they'll be like, it's going to pop off, last chance to buy at this price ever again. And when you're looking at these people that have hundreds of thousands of followers, you're thinking, shit, it must be it. That why would they lie?
Yeah.
But you don't realise that they're either purposely distracting you or they don't know themselves. And when you get caught up in it.
Well, with that, with the media and trading is, I remember when I first started trading, and a lot of people might understand this as well, is you don't know, when you very first get into trading, you know a little bit about technical analysis, a little bit about fundamental, but it wasn't too technical based, because I was involved in oil, which is very much fundamentals affected and stuff like that. But I used to look at the news like Bloomberg and stuff, and I used to look out for things on, say, Forex Factory, where you're looking out for news like non-farm payroll, let's just say when the news comes out for the US data and stuff. So you're looking for that to affect the price of things. But it actually used to do the opposite.
Yeah.
And so now when I actually sort of for fun sometimes watch Bloomberg and see what they're saying about something. Like, I was actually watching it today. It just popped up. I don't know if it's Bloomberg. It might just been another morning show or something. It was just saying how the pound dropped or has been dropping this week because of the Brexit situation. I always do, or will always look for the opposite of what they're telling you on the TV. So now they're saying, oh, how low can it go? So when the pound against the US dollar was at the lowest ever levels was 1.200.
Yeah.
And then in March, it dropped to new lows. And at that time in my community, I was telling people to look for buys. And I recorded a video in March saying it's going to hit 1.3500. And then a couple of days ago, it hit 1.3480. So 20 pips off. But that was like thousands and thousands of pips. But you do the opposite of what you're being told. And so in my community, I've told a lot of people this. And this is actually going to fit well into something else we were just talking about. But you always do the opposite of what it's like.
Don't follow the herd.
Yeah, don't follow the herd. And why? Because so in trading terms, the low, for people that don't know, the all-time low for pound against the dollar. So there was a low. So it came to the bottom, went up a few. This is over years of the whole lifespan. So there was a floor.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down here and take everybody out.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go up faster than it ever has gone up before. And that's exactly what happened. That's a very dumbed down version that I'm trying to explain.
I think people need to realise as well, sorry to interrupt, but it's like Bloomberg has millions of viewers. So if what they said was gospel, everyone would be a winner. I don't think that clicks in people's head. But
I've literally seen not documentaries, but articles before about Bloomberg, where I think it was with oil, because I used to be heavily traded in oil when I first started, was that oil could be at like the near the peak of a trend, near the top, and then Bloomberg will be like it can go up higher, it can keep going, it can keep going, however way around it does it, but basically it's bringing in everyone watching, all the retail traders, people that don't know what they're doing, and they're just sucking you in before it's about to drop. So everyone's getting their sell positions in, and they're just using you as liquid to take the trades. But again, that's what, just going back to the pound US dollar trade, like it's been dropping this week, and this morning was saying, oh, how low can it go? But it'll probably go back up next week. But it's just sucking people in. So then a long time ago, when my trading took a turn for the good was when I realized that the markets were manipulated. And this is why I said this is going to go into what we're talking about a lot at the moment. Is a lot of people say, how long did it take you to be profitable and so on. But one of the things, when you realize it, whether you want to believe it or not, the markets are manipulated. And I talk about manipulation on a daily basis. If people look at my videos on YouTube and Sniper Sundays and stuff, I talk about manipulation on every video because it's manipulated. It's the banks, hedge funds, all the higher tier that are manipulating the retail traders and just using you but then just use that as a parallel to what we were just talking about. How there's the higher, and they don't care that that millions of people, how many people succeed in Forex. Like they don't care about how many people are losing their money as long as they're making money. True. So use that as a direct parallel, and the Forex market and cryptocurrency market is the biggest market in the world. More money moves between the Forex, foreign exchange markets than any other market in the world. And therefore, it's the most highly manipulated. It's manipulated day in, day out. And then when you understand that and take it on board and don't think it's a conspiracy theory and say, okay, I'm going to believe what this person's saying and look at it from a new light or a new perspective, then you start taking the trades. Then you start noticing the manipulation. Then you start getting the entries. Then and then it all changes. But that's from opening up your mind and saying, okay, there is a possibility that the markets are manipulated, and looking at it from a different perspective, which, sorry for talking so much, but just go back to what we're saying is look at things from a different perspective. You don't have to take our word as gospel. We're not saying we're 100% right, but just look at things from a different perspective, open up your mind and think outside the box. And I said, we're trading. I'm sure a lot of people watching this who are traders will agree with that, and maybe a lot of people who are watching it who don't know that will now look at things in a different light. I think it goes
back to what you just said as well about what I just said. Question everything.
Yeah.
Like people don't. What is the market trading at now? 11 trillion a day, 12 trillion. I'm pretty sure it's pushed up into the 10, 11 trillion region.
For Forex? Possibly. I know like 5 trillion a day goes through like Euro USD alone.
So I know it's in that region. So you got to think, when there's huge manipulative moves, breaking out of a zone and prices flying. That's not us making those movements. That is an orchestration between the largest players moving that price. And people don't just question the market's this much like being traded trillion daily. It's not going to be the retail traders involved. They're the ones that are getting battered. So it's very clear there's large players that are moving prices. You just need to look at it deeper and just question, not even question. Just critical thinking.
But once you say it and just explain it, it just seems so simple. It's like, oh, how did I not know that? It's like once you see it, it can't be unseen. Because it's so obvious then. But then it's just being able to, with trading, being patient to wait for it to happen and all other things we can get into the future. But I think just bringing it up was actually quite good just to put it. There's things are connected throughout the world. Like the markets, it's a very good one to connect to what we're saying about COVID because it deals with money. It's all about money at the end of the day. Money makes the world go around, and that's a lot of the time what it's about, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the same way we've covered this virus, the way they set you up for traps with the recession, shutting down stores, or if not taking out all these loans and stuff, these bounce back loans and all this crazy stuff. The same thing happens in the forex market or the crypto market. They lure you in with a certain setup, then they'll absolutely destroy you. Then they'll profit off the move anyway. So it's like with the recession, only we lose during a recession if we lose all our assets because they fucking repossess it anyway. They still win. So if they take your property during a financial crisis or a recession, if you default on a mortgage or a loan, the property goes to them. So then they'll just
and they won't give you a property or let you have a mortgage on a property that they're not going to profit from for when they do take it off you. Like they're not going to give you they're not going to give you a mortgage on a house so that when they take it back, they're not going to get what they gave you and probably plus more. So I mean, it's like even liken it to the casino. The house always wins. So I mean, the house always wins. So yeah, you might win here and there, but not in that. Not good to connect that to forex. No. But you know what I'm saying? Like you're in a bit of a game, and do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Basically, once you can spot what they're doing, you piggyback off their moves and make the money. Essentially. That's what I do with crypto. Like sometimes I get caught out in crypto still. The first move might catch me out and then it clicks in my head. Because crypto's more volatile. And then I realise, shit, this is what they're planning to do now. Now it makes sense. Then I'll capture the next move and bang. It's like clockwork.
Because you can't stop it 100%.
No.
You'll always be losses. And I think maybe something that we can probably cover in future podcasts. But with trading, and a big problem with trading is people don't understand that you will have losses. And you'll have wins, you have losses, then there's risk management and stuff. But a lot of people can't accept that they'll have a loss. And therefore, they could be a great trader and have 9 winning trades, but they can't accept that one loss. So rather than just take a small loss or let it hit your stop loss, they'll let it run and they'll have a big loss and they'll blow their accounts and stuff like that. So I think that's something that we can talk about.
Definitely. I think there's a lot we could, especially if people want it, we can discuss the trading side as well, investments. You could definitely mention some property stuff.
Because we're here to talk about all sorts, not just trading, but again, if there's people that want to hear about that, we'll see what their thoughts are, and we can go into that into with a bit more detail.
Definitely, there's loads to cover. We can even have a little brainstorm whilst we're on holiday as well, and get the new topic ready straight away. But,
we'll see what happens there. We're bound to have some stories when we get back. Cool. So on that note, should we finish off?
Yeah, let's wrap this one up. I think it's been successful. How do you feel after this?
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Same.
I think the first one is just getting off the mark, really, isn't it?
It is.
And
I feel like comfy. It's nice.
And the second, third, fourth, and we'll keep it rolling. And I think we'll just ease into it even better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, cheers. A toast to the first one.
First one. Well done.
And many more to come.